This is Jen from Spokane Public Library, and this is on seed collecting, part 2. As I have said in the previous episodes, that seeds are like people. They come in all different sizes and different level of handling. Some are easier than others, some are bigger, and some are smaller. This is the deal seeds that we collected in the last episode, and deal is one of the easiest things to collect as seeds because all you do is either shake them and rub them and spend a little bit of time picking out the debris, and there you have it. This needs a little bit fine-tuning. Another example of easy seed collecting is this. The biggest challenge for sunflowers is beating the animals to it, because they all know better than you when it's ready, right? So you watch, you kind of use the animals as a clue. As the chipmunks have start eating some of this, I know it's time, so when they're not exactly 100% ready, I cut them and let them dry. And this will continue to dry a little bit longer, and this is how you physically remove seeds. Okay, now, here's another example of easy seed collecting. This is nasturtium blossom. Seeds coming in a pot like this. When they're ready, they're really easy to break. So you collect them like this, bring them inside to dry, and this is halfway dry. Now, let's talk about things that need a little bit more work. This is calendula. The seed pod looks like this. Not particularly difficult. You have to wait until they're brown, dry like this, and then they're pretty easy to break apart. But once you break them apart, there's a lot of debris that you need to hand-pick them. So this is where the time-consuming part comes in. So I will pick this a little bit later when they're drier than this. Now, some seeds come in seed pods like this. This is mustard green. And in the years past, I have always collected mustard greens in a bag like this. Then I go in and break them in the bag to open up the seed pods when they're dry. Like this. But I found that this is really labor intensive, because what am I going to do with all those covers, this little fine debris? So this year what I'm trying something new. I'm going to break each one of them when they're crispy and brittle like this, and I am going to break them. Can you hear that little noise? Like the raindrop noise? That means the seed itself is really ready. Of course, another clue is the brown color. And when you see supple, nice, fat seeds like this, you know they are good. One thing you want to keep in mind is when you're collecting seeds, you want to collect the most beautiful, the biggest, the best looking seeds, right? That only makes sense because that's the best gene you want to perpetuate. So I'm hoping with this new method, I might save myself some time. So this is what I'm going to try, a new way of doing it like this. Now, one thing to keep in mind then is that a lot of seeds look the same. This is mustard seeds, and this is actually California poppies. And you see, they look exactly the same. So one thing to keep in mind is to clearly mark your seeds. Because if you think you are going to remember what they are, especially when they look alike, and if you're like me, chances is that you won't. Some seeds takes a little bit more coaxing, like this California bluebell, or also called desert bluebell. Exquisite little bluebell flowers, but heavily encased in the seed pod. So you actually have to rub it with your fingers. And it comes with a lot of debris. Now what do we do with all this little debris, little crushed seed pods? Okay, so if there is a little breeze outside, you take it outside and you toss it like this. And I'm doing it inside today. And you blow it gently, because the debris is a lot lighter than the seeds. However light and exquisite the seeds are, it carries a little bit of weight and it's heavier than the dust you want to get rid of. As much as you can. It's never going to be perfect. So anyway, see this little tiny little seed? That's what it is. And that way, at least it gives you a little bit more clarity as to what is it you're saving. This cosmos here is another thing that you can do with the same method. Debris, seeds. Toss it lightly and blow off all the little thing that comes with the seed. There it is. And that's really all there is to it. Nothing complicated, but just a lot of work. Okay, now 3 things we need to keep in mind. One is you want to keep the seeds as mature as you can on the plant itself. Another thing is that you want to make sure the seeds are absolutely dry, crispy to the touch before you pack them up and label them correctly. Otherwise, they will rot. And the last thing to remember is label them correctly unless you forget. And that's all there is to it. This is Jian Jian from Spokane Public Library. Thanks for watching.